Hey, Craig here. Sorry I haven't been making a lot of videos recently. I've actually entered the busy season on my my day job. Anyways, this video I'm going to be talking about pallet systems, fixture plates, tooling plates, that kind of thing. Alright? Okay, so I'll start this off by talking about the pallet system I've been using. This is the Pierson speed change pallet system. Now this is the full size. Not the, I forget the name of it, but the smaller one. This is the full size one. I mean, I love this thing. I've been using it for, gosh, 2 years now. It is so easy to use. But the two problems I'm having with it are changing between this and a vise. Originally, I was hoping that maybe I could put a vise on top. But as you can see, the problem with that is I've got the Z up all the way. And if you have any kind of tall parts in there, like this, it just makes it too high. If I had a larger mill with a lot more Z clearance, you can actually just bolt this down to like a vise pallet. Whenever you need a vise, you just put it on. But since the 770 doesn't have the Z clearance, I can't really do that. The other thing I've been running into is running into things on the back side of the pallet. Like if I want to put a bolt through to say clamp another fixture plate there, I sometimes run into the issue of not being able to put them in the spots that I want because of these holes right here. The other issue that I'm having with it is obviously the price. This pallet right here, I believe, was $200, and it hasn't been an issue up until now, just because I've been only using like 3 pallets, 2 or 3 pallets. I'm starting to have problems because this is what I've referred to as my universal pallet. Basically, it will make covers in basically any shape or size. Large covers, small covers. This has actually been turned, rolled on a slip roll. Thick covers, heavy-duty covers, aluminum. Basically, any shape or size I make and send out to my customers next day. 1 day lead time on that. So basically what's happening is, in order to make sure that I cut all the way through and I don't have like a burr on there, I usually set the depth to minus 15 thousandths to make sure I cut all the way through. But over time, that is basically worn down this whole section over here. So from here in, everything is basically 15 thousandths lower than the main portion. So basically, when I hold something like this down, this big, it's basically only being held up by this section, which is causing vibration when it's cutting around the edges. So I thought, okay, well, the answer to that problem is going to be, you know, I'll post it up on the video. One of the guys, another guy that has a Tormach, talked about subplating, where you basically put one plate on top of here and just put it down with like dowel pins and stuff. So I was thinking, okay, well, that's gonna be the answer, because then, you know, I can make one of these plates for each size. And a plate like this is like 30 bucks. Or one of these for this basic size. Maybe it might do like 5 or 6 different sizes like this. So I was set about trying to figure that out, but I was running into issues holding this down with these bolts and stuff. I mean, I guess I could put alignment pins here and then bolts over here, but then I've got 4 bolts that I have to take out each time I change one of these plates. So I said, okay, well, maybe there's another solution that will solve this whole problem. And it's actually a solution that I've seen, you know, on the internet. I've seen a lot on John's videos at NYC CNC, and a lot of people have been using them, but I don't know, I kind of like put off. I didn't want to spend the money on it, and so I'm seriously considering getting a tooling plate, or what he listed as a fixture plate. But basically one of those tooling plates that has a bunch of holes for mounting stuff down. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to be going that route. I can actually use this base, basically, because every time I want to go from the pallet system to the vise, you know, I just dread having to take this off, put the vise on, put the pallet system back on, you know, retram it, get it all set in. I just dreaded doing it, so I haven't been using the vise much and doing stuff that I need to on the vise. And I've got some new projects coming up that are going to require a vise. So in terms of the type or the brand of the tooling plate, I guess I'm looking at going with the John's with NYC CNC, Chandra's Machine Works tooling plate. I guess he hasn't come out with the steel one that's supposed to come out in, I think, mid to late November. And so I'm probably gonna, I actually need to do something on this quickly, so I'm probably gonna end up going with the aluminum one. And I've contacted a few people on YouTube that have the his tooling plate, the aluminum one, and they are very happy with it. So I'm probably going to go with that, and that should solve a lot of problems. In fact, I may start using that as a makeshift pallet system. I don't know, just say for example, this is John's tooling plate. You know, it's got all the holes in it. So say I want to make a fixture plate for, say, this size, this cover right here. All I would need to do is make 2 half-inch holes and 2 through holes with counter bores. On the tooling plate, put 2 pins in, slide it over the pins, and then put 2 bolts through, and it's basically like a pallet system. Obviously not as easy as the air operated here, and you actually have to machine the undersides. So I mean, it's going to end up being more work than the actual pallets. But you know, if I was just going to, if I didn't have to use a lot of pallets, if I just was able to stay the way I was going, you know, maybe if I just had like 5 or 6, maybe up to 10 pallets, you know, I'd probably just say, okay, well, I'll just use pallets only. But you know, I may have upwards of 100 fixture plates, different configurations, different sizes, and that kind of thing. So it's looking to me like the tooling plate is probably going to be the best route to go, and it'll give me more flexibility. If I continue to use Well, I'm going to need to continue to use it because I've got other pallet systems, other pallets here that are already ready to go for certain things. But I'll be able to take this on and off quickly, be able to put the vise on and off quickly with the locating pins, and I'll be able to use it as a makeshift pallet system just on its own. One of the other things I was worried about was if I'm doing this on a tooling plate, how do I face this? If I use toe clamps like this, I can't face it. I got some information from another Tormach owner, and he talked about, I think he made his own, but they actually have special Mighty Bite, I forget the name, modular clamps, and it's basically special Mighty Bite clamps that actually hold the plate elevated up like this. So you put 1, 2, 3, 4, or I do it the other way, and they actually have Mighty Bite, I think it's pit bull clamps on the end. So you basically just put 4 of these around here, set this on here, tighten the Mighty Bites, and this is just floating up here, so you can actually face it without interference from the toe clamps, and you actually have clearance underneath to be able to bore through without boring into the tooling plate. I'll try to throw a picture of one of them up on the screen here. So that's probably the way I'm going to be going on that. And I don't know if anybody has any better ideas, or like to know what you guys think, but I see a lot of people going this way. So alright, well, if you like this video, I'd appreciate the thumbs up. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them down below. If you'd like to subscribe, there should be a subscribe button up here somewhere, and some other videos if you'd like to watch them. Alright, bye.